Okay. Hi, Catalina.
Hi, Nicole. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for coming here and, allowing this time to share you and the brilliance of you.
Thank
So,
you.
hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Kim, and I am an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, and I interview people and people who have the brilliance and light and joy and the spark of, I don't know, like how can I even describe them? When I see people, I see certain glow per se, or the spark in them, the seed of possibilities and choice and consciousness and awareness that each one of us could contribute to this planet and the global consciousness and awareness. So when I found Catalina, I became so interested in her because clearly she had this energetic pull of pulling me into her energetic world. And I actually talked to Catalina last week, and I just discovered so many interesting things about her. And that's why I invited Catalina here.
Thank you so much for
So
having me, Nicole. This is so exciting.
this is so exciting that you're here because you have this ability and capacity that not many people may not have, and you seem to have ease with instant actualization and choice. So you may not be aware of this, but I see that in you, and I would just love to hear how you sort of made a difference in your life or made things to be greater. Because I know you're, first of all, start off, you're a scientist, you're super smart, even though you don't claim it. And also at the same time, you're an energetic person, you're an energy healer, and you're a facilitator. And yeah, would you tell us a little bit about you?
Yes. So I am so my name is Catalina Birza. I am an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, relationships done difference facilitator. And yes, my background is geophysics. So I am a geoscientist. And I switched careers a year and a half ago when I realized that with COVID, the whole world reshuffled, and I realized it was time for the change for me, a change that I always knew was going to happen, and I thought was going to happen whenever my kids were out of school, because we plan things, and actually the universe just has different plans, I guess, for us, and it was much sooner than I thought. I am not claiming my or as much. Well, let me go back to, I always thought that I wasn't as smart as others because I would not go into my mind as much as those that I was around. And that was, first of all, I was always told that I was lucky for everything that showed up in my life. So with Access Consciousness, I actually discovered that everything is my creation. Nothing just happened to me. And it wasn't that I was just lucky. And, so then I realized that actually what I used to think was intelligence that I did not have enough was actually was just going into your mind and trying to calculate everything, and actually brilliance goes beyond that. And I could not tell you exactly how I create, because everything is, when we get out of control and we let the universe rearrange things for us, right? We learn this in Access. We become aware of that. That's when actually great creations happen.
Yeah. I mean, even for me too, like, before Access Consciousness, I would not really claim or acknowledge what I'm all about or my abilities and capacities. But by using certain tools in Access Consciousness, I was like, wow, I'm really interesting. I'm fun. And you know, the way I am right now, it just, they don't stop here. They don't stay the same, but I have the ability to change or expand or make things greater and more fun, more joyful. And there was huge discovery for me.
Yeah. Plus, Nicole, if you remember, before Access, we are not taught, we're not encouraged actually to see the gift that we are, right? We're always told that we should judge ourselves in order to improve. So,
or push ourselves or whip ourselves to right, improve ourselves or get better. But then what is this thing about getting better? It is like it's never-ending race. Judging more, blaming more, pushing more. So it's like it's not very easy joy and fun.
And that was the difference with me. Everything was easy. Like I was 12 years ago, I got divorced, and I was a single mom. My kids were 2 and 4 at that time. And I realized that even with small kids and with, you know, full-time job and career and everything, things were still more easy for me than they were for everybody else. And so I realized no matter what stage in life I was, everything was easy. And I said, well, there must be something about me, right? That I must create something that other people cannot or don't choose. Because otherwise it cannot be that I'm so lucky compared to the whole world.
So when you discovered access consciousness, what difference did it make? Like, how did access consciousness contribute to you? Because like what I'm hearing from you is that your life was pretty good. You're making great money. Your life was good. You know, you were always sort of powerful in creating what you wanted to create. But I'd really like to hear from you as to like how access consciousness contributed to you.
Well, so first of all, my life has always been good because I choose greater. Like every day, ever since I was first grade, and I had a teacher who was not very kind. She was very abusive, and she would always. That's when I learned that competition. There is no such thing as competition. Competition is a lie, and because she would always try to diminish me, and I knew that I will achieve in life everything that I want to. I knew that nothing could ever stop me from going where I wanted to go, even when I was 7 years old. So for me, it was like what we talk in Access. It's about expanding my life every single day, like becoming more every single day. So I've had a good life before, and I just realized it was time for a change, you know? And then when I discovered Access, so I started with the bars, with becoming a bars practitioner and then bars facilitator. And those two kind of overlapped because in the summer of 2020, I started with the bars, I discovered Access. And then I transitioned to Access from oil and gas industry to Access. And after the bars, starting to take classes, starting to take the foundation and then choice of possibilities, I realized what Access was about and being in the question and every choice creates. And, you know, like all the tools of Access, one by one, were showing me actually, were giving me more and more awareness of how I was already creating, how my life has been the tools of Access consciousness. I was just not aware of it. It was fascinating.
So was it really, how can I say, how was it for you to discover a world in which there are full of people who were already operating like you, and there's nothing wrong to be that way. There's nothing wrong to be brilliant. There's nothing wrong to be magical, powerful, and there's nothing wrong to desire for something greater.
When I had my first bar session was actually when I had with that practitioner, I started having conversations. So first of all, when she touched my body, touched my head to start the session, energy started going through my body and I didn't know what was going on because I never.
Oh, wow. Wait. So describe what Access bars is.
So Access bars, are 32 points on the head, which if we touch lightly, they are going to bring up some energies that using a phrase that's called the clearing statement, are going to, delete, like get rid of some limitations, points of view, considerations that keep us from becoming greater, from actually having the life that we desire. That limit,
and you're
basically. So I went for that session, and so it was the summer of 2020, and I had a friend I worked with who had a friend who was a Bars practitioner. And since we were all working from home and not much interaction with other people, she said to me, I went to this friend of mine and she did this thing on me, and it felt very relaxing. You might want to try it. And her friend lives 5 minutes away from me. I said, okay, I'm going to go give it a try. So when I went there and I realized how amazing it felt, I started interacting with her. And then I realized that actually there is somebody else on the planet who gets what I'm talking about. Things that not everybody sees or not everybody experiences. And then I asked her, how can I learn this? And so I went for another session. And then I asked her, how can I teach this? And then so then I started interacting with another practitioner, and then I took the foundation class, which actually, it was a new universe for me. It was actually, finding access was like finding home without any significance, it was really like finding home. Like finally, after so many years of trying to explain to people, you can also create what I'm creating. You can also have this life if you change your points of view. And people will say, oh, you're just lucky. You don't get it.
Oh, wow. That is so great.
It was so much ease for me that when things are ease, you think that everybody can do them, right? And it's not like that. Like, it's either other people choose to struggle. We all make our own choices, but it was such a relief to actually not have to justify to people the choices that you make,
Yeah. So what choices have you been making since you became a facilitator, or since you found access?
So since I found access,
anything fun?
I realized with access that actually I'm pretty good at doing business. Again, business different. But everything is from, using the light or heavy tool of access. If I make this choice, is it light or is it heavy? Is it gonna, what is it gonna create in the future? If you look in the future, and like with every choice that I make, I was looking into the future, So making investment choices was, okay. In 2020, some friends of mine were asking me, they said, well, let's buy some land here in Texas. And I said, okay. That was it, pretty much. So I bought the land, and then a year later, it was worth 3 times the price. And then some other investments and some other, like, I realized that it was time for me to reshuffle everything. And in those times of crisis, I always see the opportunity for something greater if you want to take action. And it is about taking action. I mean, you can make a choice, and if you see the opportunity, if you see the universe sending you, what you ask for, if you don't take action, nothing is going to happen. So it is about taking action. And then other choices. So I became a relationships done different facilitator. And then it was like a lot of the things that the choices that I made last year regarding access were showing me how I was functioning from the access tools, and keeping on doing that, with relationships, with business, with pretty much every area of my life.
So what is it like to be Catalina and living your life every day?
It is fun. I really like my life. I've always done. And I'm very, very excited about my creations. I asked for many things, and now I'm expanding my business, my access business. So I asked, for example, for people to contribute to my business who are, promoters for classes or translators or people to do, the social media and some amazing people showed up. And
great.
so when we put the ask out there, which don't expect when is it going to happen and how it's going to show up.
It never shows up the way you expect.
And exactly, it shows up when you are ready for it. It's not when you think that you are ready. And if we have that, of course, I go in my mind a lot also, and I try to control the outcome. But also, I always have, I always know that the universe is going to deliver whatever. Sometimes I just go into my daydreaming mode while the universe is reshuffling for me.
So what do you do when you go into your head?
I just make some scenarios but I know that things are going to be, and then when I go in my head, so I don't go much into my head. I mean, I go to one scenario and then I go to another one and then I go to another. I don't really go and focus on one, which is, that's probably what gives, lets the universe, doing its job. So I am present with my asks, and then I look for whispers, what we call in access, right? So whatever, and as much as I can be in that relaxation mode, I don't stress out because I know that whatever I ask for, I receive. And so, and I also know that I don't have control of things, so when you know that, it's a little bit tricky because so you do want to go in control, but on the other hand, it's very exciting because, things are going to show up, it's going to be much more than what you asked for. So it is like that.
So is there any tool that you could share with us when you go into your head or when you try to control situation?
When I go into my head, I have the out of control clearing loop that we have in Access, which I run every day to not go much into my head. And then, so whenever I go, then I bring me back to, not back, but to being present. Not being focused, but being present. So being present is being aware of everything 364 degrees. So around you, more than like, all from all directions. Just be aware of everything that's going on around you, and then choose whatever matches the energy of your ask. And also not go into judgment. Of course, we go in judgment, but then by being present, by becoming present, then you let go of that. And
wonderful. You make it sound so easy.
It is easy. That's why it's kind of hard to explain.
I know. For you, it's
to explain
for you, it is so easy.
I wouldn't have been able to explain it if it wasn't for Access. And for the, like Access made me aware of how I live my life, and also made me much more present. So since I discovered Access, things happen quicker, whatever choices I make, because I always had asks my whole life. Like one ask, and as soon as that would actualize, even before that, I'll go and ask more and more and more, I always ask. And then I choose, and then I go into my head. But
do you ever choose something and things didn't work out? You're disappointed or you're upset or something ever?
For that, the very good tool of Access is what's right about this I'm not getting. And I didn't know this phrase but I would always, that was always in my, not always, but pretty early, like in my, I don't know, adolescence or so, when I realized that even things that didn't work out, it isn't that they didn't work out, they didn't work out my way. And they actually created much greater. Like one example is I wanted to study math, and I ended up studying geophysics, which took me to a much more expansive life than I would have had if I were a math teacher or professor, or whatever. You know, so, and then after I graduated from college, a few years later, I wanted to move to Canada. So always like making plans according to our limited mind, you know, that's what I can imagine. And then it happened that it was something completely different. I moved to Germany, and then we moved to Houston and so on. So it's always, if things don't work out your way, ask what's right about this I'm not getting. Or sometimes, you know, you have a,
Yeah, so this is one of Access tools we use often. What's right about this that I'm not getting? What's wrong about this that I'm not getting? So that's what Catalina is referring to.
And what's, whenever you think that you are twisted or something is wrong with you, ask what's right about me I'm not getting. And that's gonna completely shift the energy and make you aware of actually what's going on. So I don't go much into the wrongness. Usually I look at what's the benefit in this? Because whatever it is, to me, everything is a contribution. All the energies are a contribution. Like even those twisted people, and you know, there are some nasty people out there, or some, if you are willing to look at what's the contribution that they are to me, what are they showing me that I'm not looking at or that I'm hiding, there will always be something. And then you can choose, you don't have to be around them, of course.
What area in life would you say is the most difficult or stickiest area in your life or work?
Well, until a few days ago, I thought that relationships were the most, and then with the awareness that I got was that actually I've always created what worked for me. Well, every time I would go into the wrongness of me was because I was judged by everybody around me, and automatically I would judge myself for not doing things or being the way everybody around me is. And that was pretty much the only area where I thought I was off.
Right, because a lot of people would blame themselves and make themselves wrong in relationships. Oh my God, did I do something wrong? Or, oh my God, what's wrong with me that this thing is happening in my relationship, right? So that's where everybody go and take on that sort of like a guilt or regrets and like all this stuff. But when we don't go into judgments of us, we become more aware of what's actually going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I realized, so I was with my ex-husband for 10 years, and then we got divorced 12 years ago. And what I realized later with Access was that actually we kept on creating, you know, because we are in a very good relationship now as parents. And so by making that change, we actually kept creating based on this reality that's wrong, you know, to get divorced, or it's wrong to, and it's actually, it's working so nicely that people, when I talk nicely about him, and I talk nicely about him because he's a wonderful person, we never had like not even one incident in 12 years, you know, like something that was like, something that would not work. We would always work things out. And people, when they say, oh, if you talk so nicely about him, why did you guys divorce? So what people don't get is that once you stop marriage, it's supposed to be nasty, it's supposed to be ugly, you're supposed to talk badly about the other, you know, like, but it was never. So I realized that whatever I did, and with my children, is I'm definitely different from how traditional parents are with their kids, because for me, I have 2 teenagers and they are wonderful. And this is like 3 people living in the same house. I don't see them as like I'm their boss or I'm their mother. Whatever creates more, it's not perfect.
What do you mean 3 people living in the house?
Like me and my kids.
Oh, 3. Oh, I see. So what I'm getting from you is that just because you divorce your husband or wife, you don't have to become their enemies. You don't have to divorce from that partnership of raising children together, or the friendship, right? Or the contribution to each other. So you're definitely choosing and creating different realities even in relationships and divorce. How amazing is that?
Exactly. And I was not aware of this until I actually became a relationships and different facilitator. And then asking questions, I realized actually there is nothing wrong that went wrong. Really, we are still in that what we call in Access creationship. From the moment we met until now, we are still creating greater together, and that's wonderful.
That's so great. So, do you have any interesting classes coming up?
I have a foundation that is starting on Sunday, and then I have a Relationships Done Different starting in June. And
so where can people find you? Do you have a website or social media?
Access Consciousness website. I have a public profile there. Then I have my website, catalinabirza.com, Facebook, Instagram. Yes.
Under your name?
Yes, under my name.
Great. Well, so nice that you came here and we got to talk about your magical sides and how you create these incredible things in your life with such ease and joy. And it's, I just really appreciate talking to you and just being in the energy field of your consciousness and your awareness. And it's just so yummy. And I'm just so grateful to share this time with you and with everyone.
Thank you so much, Nicole. It's always a pleasure talking to you, chatting with you. It's so wonderful. very much in your presence as well. And thank you for having me and for allowing me to share this with the world.
Yes, I would love to have you here again. And I know there's so much to share, what you create, the magic of your creations, and the ease and the spontaneous actualization is what I perceive, and I think it was just so incredible. Maybe we could talk about that next time. And I have to slow you down and pull the words out of you to actually explain to everyone what's actually occurring, because with Catalina, she's like, yeah, I do this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Get out of your head.
Get out of your head.
Yeah.
Create from knowing, get out of your head. That's great advice. All right, so let me stop the recording. Thank you everyone for being here and watching us and really, absorbing what we're talking about.